for ham baker without a real job. The rest, as they say, is history. 8 years after leaving Sydney, I'm still left with no real job. But intentional or otherwise, what I found is a role for myself over the last 7 years in the Philippines. As you could see, it wasn't done with a great foresight, nor was I doing it with the stateless Vietnamese in mind. I was simply bored out of my brain and needed to do something more exciting and challenging. I didn't give a hoot about money because I knew deep down that I could always rely on my soliciting skills for survival. If the stateless refugees can do it without a law degree for 7 years, surely I can, I was thinking. Besides, having survived the horrors of Tim Tay Mới and being in prison for a couple of months while I was growing up in Vietnam, nothing at the time seemed daunting. And I was 26 and maybe it was just a case of leftover excess hormones. Chris Patten, the last English governor of Hong Kong before his handover, was declared, "One has to change to remain the same." With time passed, my role has changed as well. From a lawyer, I turned into a fundraiser so that I could support my staff at my office in Manila, which now total at 10. And then I had to turn into an advocate because sometimes being a lawyer and sticking to the law means that it's very unjust for the people. And now I've turned into a speaker at this event and, without a real job, I'm giving a speech to distinguished professionals whom I think have more than one real job. So I think it is an honor and a privilege to be your speaker this morning. But if I may add, many privileges have come my way since my departure from Sydney 8 years ago. Over and above professional responsibilities, it is the privileges that have been the main driving force behind my role as a lawyer, become fundraiser, become advocate and speaker for the stateless Vietnamese in the Philippines. Even though my particular role has been founded by myself, a bit of myself and a whole lot of luck, it's been evolved and supported by many friends and supporters. And this I consider a privilege. There's nothing better than working with friends, with like-minded people who share the same goals and dreams. And even though it sounds a bit communist, to have friends that you can call Dong Ji is actually a good thing. And so therefore I hope that many of you here, given the projects that you are undertaking, will find as many Dong Ji as possible in the future. It is always nice to share a laugh with friends, but nothing beats the euphoric feeling when you can claim victory with a couple of friends of yours, and when you claim victory for the people that you've been fighting for over the last years or so. When the US announced last April that they will interview all the remaining 2,000 stateless Vietnamese refugees in the Philippines, 15 years after their escape from Vietnam, I was overjoyed. But I can still remember that vivid, euphoric feeling that I had, and I shared it with my friends like Joe and Yui and in DC over dinner when we heard the announcement. And that I think I would never trade for anything. It is also a privilege to work for one's own cause, be what it may. And as a Vietnamese, it is especially a privilege to work for other Vietnamese who, but for the hand of destiny, could be doing exactly the same favor for you. Well, we all share the same language, the same heritage, and a very morbid sense of humor. I have had the best time of my life in the Philippines, sharing jokes and frustrations with my people. To have fun at work, and as the Dalai Lama used to say, work like you never have to get paid, is actually a privilege. It is a privilege for me to be a witness of the boat people phenomenon, and it's a privilege to learn over the years that in the end, nothing comes for free, including freedom. Through the stateless Vietnamese, I've learned about hardship, resilience, and everlasting dreams. And through my role, I've learned a fair bit about personal agenda, international politics, and even religion. I don't know if you know, but the Philippines is the only Catholic country in Asia. And this I consider a privilege, not the religion part. It is not easy to learn and discover oneself, but it is extremely refreshing to be aware of one's own sense of values and purpose in life. For me, that journey was only truly discovered over the last 7 years working as a volunteer for my people, the stateless refugees in the Philippines. Through them, I have found many friends, a great deal of support, and most recently, a wife. As bizarre as it may sound, I wouldn't be able to locate where my heart is. If there's one thing I want to say to conclude this rather, self-possessed speech of mine, and it is a first written one. I usually don't use notes. I just go up and blah 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 about the refugees. But this time I had to write because otherwise it would kill me. That is in the words of the German philosopher Johann Wolfgang Goethe, and I quote: "Until one is committed, there is hesitancy, the chance to draw back, always ineffectiveness. Concerning all acts of initiative and creation, there is one elementary truth, the ignorance of which kills countless ideas and splendid plans. That the moment one definitely commits oneself, then the providence moves too. Whatever you can do or dream that you can, begin it now. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. As I have often shared with my people in the Philippines, there's only one life to live, so we might as well live fully. We live for our family and friends, but also for those who are less fortunate than us. And we live always with a heart fond of Vietnam. And that, I think, is my perspective on the role of a Vietnamese professional. Thank you.